Rev up your engines! Here's a real one that a guy bought used. Okay, the original MSRP was $78,000. He paid 28 grand with 40-something thousand miles on it. Now, this guy had worked on the assembly line at BMW, and now he does stuff like testing them out. He could take these things apart and put them back together again. That's one of the reasons he bought the car, and the other reason was he lives in South Carolina, where, strangely enough, he found a British mechanic who works on these things, who's honest. Now, this may be the only BMW mechanic in the world who's honest, as far as I'm concerned. Now, you can see why people buy them, because they're beautiful SUVs. They're luxurious inside. We'll go on the other side while we're walking around. The leather interior's immaculate. It's got the dual sunroof, lots of room in the back. As a warning, if you don't know any BMW mechanics and you buy one of these, you better have a big piggy bank for repairs. In the case of this one, he has had to replace the air conditioning compressor between 40 and 80,000 miles. It was $3,100. He had to replace the compressor, the condenser. The compressor just flat blew a hole in itself. Even at that price, if he'd taken it to the dealer, it would have been even more. So, you realize they're not cheap to fix. But, as you can see, here's the injection system. It is solidly built, an inline six. He took the plastic crap engine cover off and threw it away because he knows about machines. It doesn't serve any purpose. And truthfully, hey, he lives in South Carolina. You do not want heat to build up on your engine. You want it to dissipate. Now, if you live in Alaska, I can understand it. It's freezing cold. You want the heat to stay under there. But where it's hot, a beauty cover actually serves negative benefits. It's hurting the vehicle by holding the heat in. I mean, look, all this stuff's plastic. This little plastic line broke. And this little plastic hose here was 75 bucks. Let me tell you, that's the tip of the iceberg on one of these. As you can see here, this is the charge hose, right? And this charge hose, he tried an aftermarket one, but it blew off. So he had to go back to OEM, and this hose was a $410 part. Like I say, tip of the iceberg on these things. The parts cost a small fortune. That's one of the reasons that he could get a $78,000 car for $20-something thousand. I don't care what kind of nonsense they give you about, oh, high resale values. I remember way back decades ago, BMW touted that they had the highest resale value in the world. They claimed like their 528 version had the highest resale. They found some item that they barely sold many of, and then the next year the prices went up, so the resale value of the other ones they claim was high. This is more reality of BMW. 70-something grand for a new one, 40,000 goes for 20-something grand. That is the reality of things, because most people understand that BMW stands for bring my wallet when it comes time to maintain and fix the car. And check out the tires. He's got nice tires. You know why he's got nice tires? Because this baby come with those stupid run flat tires, and he said it rode like crap. Why would I want a car like this that rides like crap? That's the big reason you really don't see too many cars anymore using run flat tires. Yeah, I mean, if you're worried that, you know, bad people are coming after you with guns, you want to have bulletproof tires that run flat? Yeah, but if you want a nice car that rides nice, run flat tires stink. So, he went to normal, good tires. You can see these aren't crazy low profile. They're normal tires, normal rims. They're not that crazy gonna go flat every time you hit a curb or hit a pothole and blow out. They're much better with these tires on them. Now, this car has about every option there is, but he went with the base wheels. He didn't want to pop his tires on the potholes and deal with that crap. But everybody wants these big wheels with low profile because the way they look. This guy's smart. He got this for the way that it drives. The original idea of BMW was the ultimate driving machine. And way back in the 60s, hey, they were driving circles around American cars, and they kept their driving up. It's just that they started going too much into stylistic crap that doesn't serve a purpose. We'll take a look inside. Start her up. Whoa, look at that BMW, boy. That's a really cool little Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Now you can hear this is one strong running engine. I'm gonna put my scan tool on it, but BMW and these 6-cylinder engines, they can run forever, smooth power delivery, nice smooth idle. A lot of companies have gone away from straight sixes, not BMW. These things are solid built. And this one has an excellent transmission. He says it shifts even better now than it did when he bought it years ago. They're solid built cars. It's the plastic and electronic stuff that'll drive you nuts. And as he just told me, you gotta maintain them. A lot of people don't maintain anything. Okay, let's say you're gonna buy a Toyota, right? Buy a Toyota. Change the oil every 10,000 miles. That's about it. First 100,000 miles, 10 years, that's probably all you're gonna have to do. These you have to maintain. If you don't maintain your car, don't buy a BMW. So we turn the old scan around. Diagnosis, X5, US. Diagnosis and an auto scan. Here we go. So here we go. Now we always expect a few codes. We'll start out with the integrated chassis management. It has one fault. And the code is signal invalid from a transmitter. From the electric power steering. As the owner just said, if you heard him, stupid German stuff. Yes, the Germans get carried away with just about everything. We really don't care about that. There's also an electronic power steering code. Let's look at that. I bet it's the same code too. Watch. Electronic power steering torque sensor steering angle index faulty intermittent. So we'll erase that too. The headlight high system is 2 codes. Let's see what those codes are. It's actually getting to be comical now. Okay, intermittent connection, headlight to CID, no communication. CID image data invalid or faulty. So we'll erase those 2. So according to this, the adaptive headlights aren't adapting quite correctly, but he has no problem seeing when he's driving. Nobody's flashing their brights at him. So we'll see what else is on the computer. We have the integrated automatic heating and AC. Okay, that's got a fault too. Let's see what that fault is. All right, people. You're not going to believe this, but this one is stratification flap motor, front right, locking has been detected. You're gonna find this on any BMW as it ages. You're gonna get wacky codes up the wazoo because of all the technology. You wouldn't believe how many separate modules are on this thing, and all it takes is one little glitch. Realize all these computer modules work on 5-volt reference signals, not much power, and usually the amperage that goes through them is milliamps, thousands of an amp, hardly any little glitch, and it'll do squirrely stuff like this. So we'll go back, we'll erase that too. Now all the codes are gone, except for this first one, the integrated chassis management. It erases, but it immediately comes back on. It'll be the same code for sure. Signal EPS is invalid, the transmitter for the electronic power steering. So according to this, it's not getting the actual position of the power steering. There's something wrong either in the wiring or the sensor itself. But like I say, he hasn't had any problem driving it around. So let's look at live data. 2 live data, battery voltage is fine. Remember, these are color coded. If anything's weird, it's gonna be color coded and be off. But look at all this stuff. Ambient pressure, ambient temperature, throttle valve opening position, charging pressure. Oh, we're giving the Germans a plus here. The data's here on this machine. Do I have to get a pressure gauge and hook it up? Fuel, maybe it'll leak, start a fire. Then you got to buy new gaskets. This, at least you get a good machine like this, you can actually read it to see if it's working right or not. I'll give them an A+ for that one. And check this out. Variable camshaft timing exhaust position with engine running. It's running. It is 4.06, 4.22. It moves around a little. Winkles means crank angle. The angle of the crank. Yes, they have to have everything in strange languages, even on the machines that we Americans use. So here we go with more. The pressure. I mean, look at this. Running rough value. Pretty close to 0. I mean, look, we're talking about you're off of 23/100%. It's practically nothing. Of course, there's no misfires. They're all 0. But the Germans go further than misfires. They go to rough running values. Now that one was perfect for second. It was 0.000. Oh, now it's 0.049, 0.060, 0.00 again. That's the Germans for you. In their search for perfection, they find out, well, we can get close, but we can't get the whole way. Good, but you can see, look at the amount of data. This thing has so many modules on it. it will make your head spin. Alternator temperature, alternator excitation current. You can really analyze these things if you want to go that far. It shows you the Hall sensor, 1 accelerator pedal voltage, sensor 2 pedal voltage. They really make it so you can analyze the stuff. There's no arguing that. An ignition timing on a running engine, it's running. It is 3 degrees Winkle, 3.75, 4.5. We'll rev it up, of course. It'll go up then because it's got advanced timing. Well, it's actually in excellent shape. Winkles or not, so let's take it for a spin. And of course, it's got a killer stereo. We got all kinds, look, wide angle, side angle, regular angle. Look, we can see everything. Look, here we go, we're moving, it can see we're moving. I love these cameras. Now this baby even has night vision on the front. Let's hope it doesn't have an MG42 under the hood too. And of course, as you can see here, it's got a nice heads-up display. Shows you how fast you're going and the speed limit where you are. It's 25 miles an hour here. Comes in real handy. And this is broad daylight. We're looking at this thing driving into the sun. This really works well. And now you can really see why people buy these things, because they're fun to drive. They're very smooth. It's kind of like riding on a magic carpet ride, but hey, they handle like a dream. It's just the repairs that are nightmares. So here we go to our little drag strip. Nobody's coming, so, well, somebody's coming there. You take these things out in the country, out in the highway, that's what they're made for. And here we come to our little drag strip. Now realize, this is just a 6-cylinder inline engine, but the Germans know how to make them. We'll check the shifting, and we'll check the engine. Ready, set, go. Smooth power delivery. Those shifts, you can barely feel it shifting. That's how they sell them. You get in one of these and drive it, you're gonna think, oh man, I'm in love with the BMW. But it may be one of those love affairs that doesn't last over time, and after you divorce your 5th wife, you might wonder, gee, maybe I should stay away from those things. This has got 81,000 miles on it now, but hey, you really don't have anything wrong with it at all, other than all that crazy German nonsense, angle, this, that, and everything else. It steers fine. It drives fine. Look at that passing gear. You can pass people in this, and the engine just keeps ticking. They're pretty quiet inside. We'll come to a stop. The only thing I can hear is the fan. It's on low. That's all I can hear is the fan on low. Smooth as can be. These 6-cylinder engines, that's what they're made for. Smooth power. Now gas mileage, not so much. He gets around 20 miles a gallon, but this is an all-wheel drive vehicle too. It's heavy and it's fast. So, you know, you can't whine about 20 miles a gallon if you're going to drive something like this and have some fun in it. It's not made for gas mileage. That's one of the reasons that straight 6 engines really aren't that much around, because they do use a bit more fuel than a V6 configuration will. And one of the reasons he went for the 6-cylinder was because he didn't want the V8, because he knows about BMWs. He works for him. And he knows the valve stems on the V8s go bad. You got to pull the engines. It costs a lot of money. My grandson's got a V8 BMW, and yes, the valve seals are gone and it burns oil. They all do that. It's a known flaw. On these 6-cylinder engines, no, they're strong engines. And listen to that sound. Yeah, it's a 6-cylinder engine, but boy, it's got a nice hum to it. A BMW X5, known as one of the most expensive vehicles in the world to take care of and maintain, but this guy maintains it, and he has a English mechanic who knows how to work on them. You can see the technology from my fancy computer that's in these things. It's absolutely insane, but they are fun to drive. The engines are solid, the transmissions are solid. Just realize you got to maintain them, and you're gonna have to find yourself a mechanic like he did, the English guy, who understands. Guy like me with equipment that can actually see what's going on, understand how to fix these things, because they are so complex. Guess what? This isn't an SUV according to BMW. They don't call them SUVs. They call them sports activity vehicles. They're SAVs instead of SUVs. Yeah, it's a mid-size SUV, really. She's almost the original owner, about 3,000 miles. Now it's got like 103,000 miles, and she thinks she's got a problem with the transmission, which could very well be the case. But this is the first generation that they made. All made in Germany, not made in the United States. They really did a good job building these things. And my experience with this particular model, the first generation, is this. If they're maintained correctly, they can last a long time. The problem is the maintenance actually done? As we look under the hood, there's something missing. Actually, there's 2 things missing. If you look around, there is no engine oil dipstick and there is no transmission oil dipstick. Why? Because they can, right? But it's plain stupidity. Maybe it's because they know they're going to be crooked, so they make them that way. Her transmission has probably got a problem. We're going to run through some stuff. It wasn't acting right. She took it to BMW. They said, oh, it's not your transmission. They never break. It's the transfer case for the all-wheel drive. So she paid like 5,500 smackers, and it didn't fix the problem. Now, she had all her servicing done at the BMW dealer, and theoretically, they've serviced the transmission. Now, I can't tell you if they serviced the transmission, because it's sealed. There is no dipstick. And of course, the same thing goes for your engine oil. I can't tell if the engine oil has been changed. There's no dipstick, right? It has a sending unit that tells you, theoretically, when it isn't broken, that you're low on oil, right? But that's it. So I couldn't tell if anybody ever changed the oil on this thing unless I dropped the oil pan, and if it was all full of sludge, I'd say, well, I guess they didn't change it very often. Taking those things out is just total insanity for the owner, but like I said, maybe it's just planned obsolescence by BMW. I have never seen one break within the warranty period. They always wear out like this, 100,000 miles, right? She's paid for servicing. I don't know if they've serviced it, and I kind of doubt if they did, because these are the same people who sold her a $5,500 transfer case for the all-wheel drive when it wasn't a problem, and now they're saying, well, maybe it's the transmission. Maybe. Great mechanics there, BMW. You can see, she has taken care of this car. Garage. They were solid built cars. I mean, listen to the door. Those are solid built cars. In the interior, the leather's still in excellent shape. You could re-dye it if you wanted, but it's not ripped or torn. Lots of space. These were a very popular vehicle for BMW. Back in the day, the modern ones, everything is super plastic. They have all kinds of problems. They cost a fortune to maintain as they wear and break down. But this is the first generation they ever made of these. This is one of the last of the first generation. I'm assuming that they never changed the transmission fluid in it. We're gonna find out if this thing is bad by hooking up my fancy computer. We'll do a standalone diagnosis. And as we can see, it's an X-Series USA 09. And up pops everything. We're going to do a full scan of the car. Full fault scan of what we do. The interior's in immaculate shape. She has taken care of this car. There's no arguing that. Car is in excellent shape, other than she says the transmission's acting up. Slowly but surely it's getting there. It's got 14 trouble codes at 78% done. Okay, it ended up with 19 codes. So we're going to start with the engine. It's got codes for the electric coolant pump, eccentric shaft sensor. It has a bunch of dynamic stability control problems. Airbag system is a problem with no message from the control unit. Immobilizer has a problem. Well, it starts and runs. Maybe it's a low battery or something. And it has the transfer box, has oil wear. They supposedly replaced the transfer box. And a code for the Servotronic control unit. Internal control unit fault. That has to do with the drivetrain, the transmission, and all-wheel drive. Then there's a bunch of general module ones. Battery voltage, open windows. We don't care about that. ECU internal problem with this electronic control unit. You can see that the electronic transmission control itself doesn't have a problem, right? So it might not be the transmission. It might be in the transfer case that they supposedly fixed, because it says it also has oil wear in the transfer box. See, they said they put a new transfer case in, but it is saying that there is oil wear, that the oil is worn out in it, making me think they didn't really do anything at all. And it also says problem with the electronic control unit for the Servotronic, which is the all-wheel drive system that works in conjunction with the transfer case. Electronic failure? Or they didn't change the fluid in it. Now here's her bill, and you can see she paid $6,545, including $4,469 for parts. As you can see here, the transfer case was $3,864.76. So something is rotten here in Denmark, or I should say in Deutschland. It says that the oil is old and worn out. No way. They're supposed to change the whole box. I'm assuming they put oil in it too, right? It's a sealed unit, like I said. There's no dipstick for any of this stuff. But then it's got a code for the control unit for the transfer case. That's not on the bill. And she said after they put this transfer case on and charged her $6,000 something, guess what? She said it still had the same problem. It could easily be a control unit problem because it still has a code for the control unit on it. So let's take it for a spin and see how it feels. I just felt it clunk. It's definitely got wear problems. We're gonna take it on the Tobacco Road and see what it does at higher speeds, but I could definitely feel and hear the shifting. We're gonna stop and take off again. Up. Oh God. Oh, you're not kidding. Sheesh, it's like a machine gun going off under the car. Now, interesting enough, it only does it like it's doing now at low speeds. At high speeds, it doesn't do it at all. Now, here's the interesting thing. She's been driving it, doing this thumping for 7 years. And it's driving her crazy. As you can see, once you get up to highway speeds, it stops doing it. It's only at low speeds when it's shifting gears. Now, I'm really wondering about the transfer case saying the oil is worn, since theoretically they replaced the whole thing, but it still did what it's doing when they replaced it, which to me, I'd say they should have given her money back. Now they're saying, well, maybe it's the transmission. All I'd have to say is, it does have a control unit, all-wheel drive system. It's got a code, says there's a problem in the computer for that. Now, if the computer for that has gone squirrely, it can easily start doing that jerking stuff. God, you can just feel it at low speeds. It feels like somebody is hammering on the car. Boom, boom, boom. But then when you got on highway speeds, it runs perfectly fine. Now, here's the intriguing part that pretty much cements my diagnosis. It's been thumping like that for her for the last 7 years, including after they put the transfer case in. It's about 50,000 miles she's driven it thumping like that. Doesn't on the highway, like I say, but does when it takes off. So my computer saying that there was a problem with the electronic control unit for the all-wheel drive system could easily be the fault. It's a totally electronically controlled system. It's all controlled by computers. And you saw it had a control unit problem code. And electronics are the only thing that make any sense that it can be shifting that bad and jerking for 7 years and 50,000 miles. If, let's say, it was the gears breaking down in the transmission, it's not going to go 7 years and 50,000 miles. The gears would have broken, fallen out, it would have locked up. It would have been undrivable. It's just pretty much undrivable at low speeds, but at high speeds it isn't. This thing has electronic problems. Now, the weird thing was, they charged her all that money for a transfer case, and the girl that worked there that did the service advice said, oh yes, we know it's that. We guarantee that's the problem. She got the car back and it wasn't fixed. And she went back, and it turns out they ended up firing that girl. She contacted the head of BMW, who never contacted her directly, but she got all these emails from other people in BMW, but they never fixed the problem. First of all, $6,500 and it didn't fix it. They should have said, we're so sorry, lady. We diagnosed it wrong. We'll fix it for you now. No, they didn't offer anything like that. Now they tell her, we think it's the transmission. Well, I don't think it's the transmission. I think it's the electronic control unit, because my computer says there's a problem with the electronic control unit or the wiring going to it. Something I find extremely interesting. She took it back and this made to BMW because she had a recall. And they told her she needed all this gigantic work, shock absorbers, they want thousands and thousands of all these things that she needs to be done, which she refused. But they didn't mention anything about the transmission. My God, anybody get in this car and drive it down the road, and it's going first, second, third gear, it's going clunk, 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 clunk. What kind of idiots do they have working at this dealership? You'd think they would have said, oh yeah, you need a transmission. They didn't even mention a transmission, and a blind person could get in this car. What's wrong with this car? Thunka, 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 thunka. And it's been doing it for 7 years. They didn't even mention it. They tried to sell her the kitchen sink and didn't even mention the obvious problem of the car. They obviously didn't even drive the thing, and whoever drove the thing in and out, or if they even did road test it, didn't even mention anything. It just shows you the total lack of integrity at these BMW dealers. I mean, it's mind-blowing. I thought it was bad before, but I mean, they don't even mention the biggest problem any fool can see in this car, but they tried to sell her thousands of dollars of other stuff that the car doesn't even really need. It doesn't need shocks. It handles perfectly fine. It rides fine. It's just that transmission's been clunking for years. Probably an electronic control problem or a wiring problem. It shows electronic control problem on my computer, and they didn't even mention that stuff to her. They just told her, well, there's no sensors on the transmission to tell us if there's a problem. What a line of baloney. These things have all kinds of stuff on them. It showed the electronic control unit has some kind of a failure, and that's what shifts the car. It's shifted by computers. They didn't offer her money back. They didn't offer to fix it free. They just start saying, well, we think it's the transmission. Now, that's absurd. That shows that you think you're going to the BMW dealer and you're getting good mechanics. Ha! That's all I gotta say. They don't know what they're doing anymore. Maybe years ago they did. I knew some guys who were on U-boats that came over here. They were mechanics for BMW. They really did their stuff. But today, they just want to make money, charging stuff for people, and then saying, well, I guess that was wrong. Even though they guaranteed you that it'd fix it, they didn't fix anything. I'm just amazed that it's been doing this for 7 years and 50,000 miles, and it's still doing the same exact thing. So it's got to be electronic. Like I say, anything mechanical, it is going to break. Take your engine. If your engine's going clacka, 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 and it's a mechanical failure, it's not going to go 7 years and 50,000 miles. It's going to go boom and stop working. And this on a highway still works perfectly fine. So BMW, if I were you, I'd contact this lady and say, hey, bring it into XX dealer and we will fix the thing. If you have any care for your customers, I'd advise you to do it, because otherwise I'll continue to tell people about cars like this and what lousy service you give them. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.